Hello guys, I guess it's like a month ago that I sent my first movie to the YouTube, and I've decided it is the time to prepare another tutorial for you today. What we are going to do first is generate a mesh inside MakeHuman, then we will export it into Blender and decimate in order to reduce the poly count, because mesh made with MakeHuman is quite heavy, especially for use in the VRChat. After that we will create a bones for the mesh. The bones will be made manually without using any plugins, so it is a bit more difficult for a starter, but gives you a full control of what you are adding into your model and how to do it. So first thing first, we have our model and we are going to export it. Files, export, FBX, let's use meter. Fill in the text box with some information. Humanoid test, and hit export. Alright, the mesh has been exported. Now we will load up Blender and start playing with the model there. Now in Blender we are going to remove the default cube and import the mesh from FBX file, the place we exported it to, and let's import. And we can see we've got the model. It's quite small, so let's see the sizes, if we can see anything. Yeah, dimensions is 1/10, 1/10, 1/10, so let's fix it so we have scale set as 1, much better. Yeah, it is a very good practice to keep this transform tab at base default values. So location should be 0, 0, 0, rotation should be 0, but as we can see it kinda creates a problem here, so we'll fix this in a moment. And then scale should be 1, 1, 1. Now about the rotation, we obviously do not want to work on model that's lying on like this one, we want it standing. So we go into the object, transformation, and apply rotation. There should be apply objects, apply rotation. Now as you can see it did set the rotation to 0 and the model is set the way we want it. Great. I do hope I will not get banned or anything, because it is a naked person of no idea what gender, because I think I've left all the settings on default, so that's perfectly between male and female, hopefully. And even if, I guess it's not like I'm earning money with the ads anyway. So that's our model. We will start by decimating it and reducing the poly count for the future, for the next step. Okay, so right now our model has 28, almost 29,000 triangles. There's also some kind of high poly mesh that's here, and I have no idea what it is. Let's zoom in, and those are eyes. Alright, let's scale eyes up as well. So there should be scale as 1, 1, and let's see them pop up, and 1. And we can see that they did pop right into the place they should be at. And now let's apply the rotation. Object, apply rotation, and here we are. That's our model. Let's see how much geometry the eyes have. Quite a bit. That's 2000 triangles. We will reduce this all in due time. Okay, so let's get to work. What we should know when creating a model for the VRChat is the maximum amount of triangles is 20,000. So you should aim at less. I think 13,000 should be sweet spot. Sorry, but that's, I guess, depending on the model you're using. So we are going to start by decimating the model before we start creating bones for it. On most of the forums or on most of the tutorials, they are going with a simple way. add modifier, decimate. Where is the decimate? Here it is. I'm not using it very often, so I don't even know where it is. We can see ratio. So if we have 28,000, we want about 1/3. 0.4. And we have 10,000 triangles. It's not that bad, I guess. Acceptable. But not all models decimate this nicely, right? Some of them really become ugly. So I am going to show you how to remove the detail manually. Okay, so we undecimated the model, and now we are looking for 8,000 triangles we can remove. Let's start with the eyes. I'm pressing the slash on the numpad to focus on the object. Press tab to enter the edit mode, and start selecting with Alt pressed. So I press Alt and then right click and Shift to add more into the selection. As you can see, it cuts the model when I'm trying to zoom in. That's the clip, so-called clip value. When I reduce the minimal clip, I can go all the way to the model. So let's see what else can we remove here. So we are selecting like every second. That won't go that well. We're just looking for places we could remove. We don't have to focus on eyes that much because they are like 2000 triangles anyway, so just for those few extra triangles. And now I press X, dissolve edges. As you can see, it removed all the edges we had. Not that we've gained a lot, we've gained like 200 triangles, and there's some kind of a problem in the geometry here. I have no idea what's happening. Let's see. That's why. As you can see, it has the... Okay, it won't be as... It has the inner part as well, so let's go for the inner part now. That's quite detailed. I never knew they have detail of the sorts inside an eye. So I've removing the internal now. I can see that it does go through in some parts, so you could like remove the parts that stick out a bit, or I don't know, scale it down. If I scale it down, let's set just a bit, really minimally, it should be okay. I don't think you will need it as the tiled eyes inside the VRChat. I don't think you could support the materials that would even give any sort of detail here, right? Because that's the part that should be transparent, so you could see the insides of the eyes. But as I said, I'm not sure the shader support is there when it comes for the VRChat that would allow for such a fidelity in the detail. But yeah, that's all. We've got eyes, and we've got them down from around 2000 to 500 triangles. Okay, now we are going to get the geometry down. Okay, so the geometry. I press the numpad to go back to the model, select our mesh, go into edit mode, and we can see there's a lot of triangles here. All the tasty triangles we are going to remove. I'm turning on the select edge mode, and I'm going crazy with the selection right now to remove the geometry. I am trying to not remove something that's part of a geometry. Like you see, I only remove the full loops. It's going through entire model, doesn't stop anywhere. Like this loop would break the belly button. Let's dissolve edge. Well, it didn't actually break it, but creates this ugly 5 vertices instead of 4, which we will try to avoid because it's not necessary. And it's always better to have the quads instead of triangles, or more edges at the geometry. Now, as you can see, I'm going with the simple selection of every second loop. It will remove some detail from the model, obviously, but that's how it is with the VRChat, and we really have to get those polys down. The hotkey I'm pressing right now is the Alt key with Shift key. This way it enables us to multi-select, and now right mouse button. As you can see, it's easy to miss. And we're going. Like, there's really no easy way with 3D graphics. When you want to make something look good, it rarely pays off to use any add-ons or anything to simplify stuff for you. Most of the time it's really tedious job to do anything. Okay, so we have our selection. Press X, dissolve edges, and here we are. Now our model is 2000 triangles less. We can go up now and look for more, for even more places to, sorry, my finger slip, more places to manually decimate. This is a one fancy loop. As you can see, it's going through entire model, or is it? It's going to the X. Huh. My blender is acting funky. I have no idea why, but okay. Let's skip this loop for now and go with something less destructive for a moment. Ah, that's a lot of edges inside the neck. Now face, head. We should be careful around the face, because that's the main feature of our character. Whatever way you look at that, you don't want to decimate the face too much. We are going for arms now, and we are going to clean only the clean looking simple loops for now, and ignore all the fancy weird looking ones. We could leave this too, because that place is going to bend a bit, so we want more geometry there. And that's right, we're going slowly for the hands, and let's try to do the same in this place every second. I know it might be tedious and boring to see stuff like that, but hey, it has to be done. That's the should this one, or yeah, this one's okay, this one's alright. Yeah, it should be fine. And now with those, and the last one here. That's too much. Okay, so X, dissolve edges. Here we are. We are at 23,000 triangles right now, so it's not going that bad. As you can see, we've done legs, we've done arms. Now let's do hands. There's plenty of room for decimation with the hands, so let's get it done. Now maybe fingers first. I guess it's a bit of shame that you cannot set the poly count of a model when using the Make Human. It would really make stuff easier. I did read there was some low poly models, but I didn't want to make our tutorial depend on any third-party applications and just make everything by ourselves. So let's just remove some. I think this is too high. Okay, and now fingers are not really that important as a geometry in our game. I believe it all will be acceptable in the end with the much lowered word count. The problem with this is that we are going to do it twice, so maybe I'm not sure if a mirror through the entire model help us. I guess it could, but yeah, that would be something that you don't do most of the time when you work with a model, like when you load some anim model. I cannot guarantee it will be perfectly symmetric, so I'm not going to use the mirror modifier to cut on the work and just go through the process manually and see how it goes from there. And as you can see, fingers have a lot of geometry. I'm trying to not go too crazy with the deletion right now because I do not have to. There is a chance that I won't have to go too crazy. Okay, dissolve edges. Yeah, it's still acceptable, and we are at 22,000 triangles. Well, 24 including those damned eyes, but we'll get there, don't worry. Let's go with some fingers now. On the other hand, I'm trying to do the every second loop, so I won't make the lower geometry parts too big. Like, I'm skipping this one. Or maybe not. It shouldn't really matter in the end. Should be okay. So yeah, I'm not too thorough with this. I guess you could make it better, but I'm only showing you the basic tools because I guess you won't be really working with make human models in the end. Just find yourself some nice waifu and edit her out instead of make human model. I will, or I should, I guess, prepare some tutorials on the anime or manga models. See what I can do with them. Okay, dissolve edges. Now let's go for the feet. Now we are at 23,500, slowly getting there. Now what could we do with the legs, if you see Blender acting like this, I mean the zooming is getting really slow, press Shift B, select the location, it will zoom to it, but also reset the scrolling in and out for zooming in. Okay, so let's start with the feet. I guess that's the place you don't really have to bother with the geometry that much, but on the other hand we don't really bother with geometry at all. Just go crazy and remove the edges. Sometimes I wonder if I should add some music to the more tedious parts of the movies, because this is not really something exciting, but on the other hand you can just scroll through the movie, just fast forward to the place when it's already done, because I guess if you've done it once you will know how to do it the other time. I would do this, okay, this and remove, okay, that should be, I guess the feet will be simplified by quite a bit. And this one, hello toe, let's go through the edges. I always keep saying that there are no real shortcuts in 3D graphics. You can be smart about stuff and find a way to build it optimally and fast, but if it's going to be an artificial shortcut really forced on the workflow, then it will one day turn around and kick you in the ass, because you always pay for being lazy with 3D graphics, and in the end you waste more time than save. So it might be better to simply sit through the entire thing and do it the boring way. Okay, so we are at how many? 20,000, 22,000 or so, and we seem to have removed quite a bit, but since we are still few thousand triangles too much, so we will go for another decimation round, collapsing round, but through the less important details like feet, for example, I am not really sure right now if VRChat even supports bone animation for toes. And I mean, if I set up the bones for every toe, if I could animate them in some neat quick way. Okay, so as I said, it is quite a tedious, but I'm not going to make it simple way. I want you guys to be able to do the stuff by yourself instead of being forced to use third-party applications for everything, because once the third-party applications stop being supported, you are left in the dark by yourself, and this way you will learn the stuff that will work no matter the software you use. Okay, now what we could do is go like this. As you can see, it's going through legs. We are going to be a bit more careful here though, because it's going through entire model. As you can see, it will reduce the geometry of our nipples, so that's even more dangerous to do. We will leave the nipples alone for a moment, and I guess go for this place again. And legs, and let's go through the legs. I guess we'll have to take care of the head in a moment. That should give us the missing triangles. So we are at 21,000. 20,000 is the moment when you will be able to export the model without hacking of the SDK. It will yell at you during the exporting, because it will think that the geometry is still too heavy. But we'll have to live with it. I do suppose you will use this tutorial for your own models. Probably not as heavy, so, but still hopefully it will work. I'm looking at the ears now. As you can see, there's a lot of geometry here that I don't think anyone will need. Does it look too weird? Nah, I don't think it does. I mean, ears are a weird thing in general, the shape and all. I don't remember which one I have removed, but I guess nobody says we have to be perfectly symmetrical, do we? And look at that, we're almost at the point where we wanted to get. We could remove some loops here, right in the eyes. It's pretty detailed area, and I don't think we need so much detail here. Not for our. I'm just wondering which loops should be easiest to remove. Yeah, not really a loss of detail here. Yeah, it's best, just guys, when doing this, try to keep yourself to the clean loops that do not end like this one, see? Because if you delete loop like this, you will have the other side of the face not edited, and you will generate geometry that's made of something else that done quads. That's not something you really want, because it increases chances of your geometry really looking bad. Okay, and we are here at the nasal part of our model, looking for some places to clean up. Oh, what a nice loop. Okay, and the problem with what I'm doing is that the new geometry, the one after removing the edges, is not equally dense in every place, but I guess we can live with that. And here we are, 19,000, almost 20,000 words, and that should be pretty much all we need for now, and we'll start creating bonds in the next tutorial, so see you then.